In this podcast episode, Nsima Inyang dives deep into his unique approach to unconventional strength training, blending traditional powerlifting insights with fluid movement practices, jiu-jitsu, and breathwork. The conversation spans a broad range of topics, including the nuances of sandbag and rope training, the interplay between different fitness modalities, the importance of diaphragmatic breathing, optimizing sleep and recovery, and the crucial yet overlooked role of sunlight and skin health in overall longevity and vitality. Nsima begins by reflecting on his roots, tracing his fitness journey from competitive natural bodybuilding and powerlifting, where he managed impressive lifts like a 755-pound deadlift and 625-pound squat, to discovering a more fluid, functional style of movement. Thanks to influential figures like Mark Bell and experiences at the Super Training Gym, Nsima gravitated toward unconventional tools such as sandbags, maces, ropes, and kettlebells. These implements demanded different physical interaction, challenging the body's ability to move asymmetrically, apply rotational torque, and adapt dynamically to shifting loads, something barbell and dumbbell training rarely stimulate. He stresses the importance of adopting a student mindset that embraces learning from various fitness tribes, including traditional lifters, functional fitness enthusiasts, and practitioners of yoga and Pilates, to create a personalized, balanced movement practice that supports not just muscle hypertrophy, but longevity, injury prevention, and overall mobility. Nsima emphasizes that traditional tools like barbells and dumbbells excel at putting large, symmetrical loads on the body, ideal for building maximal strength and muscle size. However, they rarely replicate the complexity of real-world movements. Sandbags and ropes, on the other hand, force the lifter to develop grip strength, spinal integrity, and full-body coordination in a fluid and adaptable way. For example, sandbags, which are often partially packed to create shifting internal weight, require more micro-adjustments and grip intelligence than rigid bars. Pulling sleds, a favored compound tool, allow locomotion through space under load, training multi-directional force, foot strength, balance, and the musculature from toes to torso. Rope flow, developed by David Weck, becomes a signature practice that develops spinal rotation and overall fluidity. It's an asymmetrical yet symmetrical exercise where each side of the body performs different yet complementary movements, ultimately balancing dominant and non-dominant sides and reducing chronic muscular imbalances. This practice promotes a spinal engine of movement, allowing energy to be funneled from the feet through the hips and spine to the hands controlling the rope, a feature often missing in traditional neutral spine exercises. Nsima outlines a broad conceptual framework for fitness comprising foundational strength, ability to handle loads safely, elasticity or bounce, plyometric capacity and reactive strength, control, body awareness through object manipulation and balance skills, and flow, integration leading to a mental state of effortless movement. He advocates microdosing these practices throughout the day, small, consistent inputs that accumulate over time into significant gains without exhausting the nervous system or causing injury. He also touches on the importance of variability in training stimuli, explaining how different implements like clubs, maces, and juggling enhance hand-eye coordination, grip strength, and scapular mobility, supplementing strength gained through calisthenics or barbell work. This complementary approach nurtures a body able to move elastically and sustainably rather than just produce brute force. Nsima highlights calisthenics as a powerful tool for functional strength and movement quality, illustrating how some individuals achieve muscular physiques without heavy barbell training by emphasizing high-volume bodyweight exercises and functional implements. He cites examples and mentors who have influenced his approach, appreciating a blend of traditional and novel modalities to achieve balanced athleticism. Through his personal experience and observations, Nsima speaks about his own struggles with lower back pain and asymmetrical tension related to sport-specific movements, such as the right-side dominant rotations in jiu-jitsu. Rope flow and self-applied soft tissue therapies helped alleviate these issues by rebalancing muscular control and releasing chronic tension. He stresses that recovery and soft tissue maintenance are vital parts of any training regimen to avoid buildup of harmful tension, contribute to better posture, and maintain fluidity. Nsima advocates for self-applied bodywork using tools like the body lever, tennis balls, and specialized soft tissue therapy balls to identify and release tight areas. He explains how chronic tension in seemingly unrelated areas can cause referred pain elsewhere, e.g., forearm tension causing wrist pain. Learning to relax under pressure and establish a consistent self-care routine supports better movement and recovery, reducing the risk of injury. The conversation shifts to commonly neglected anatomical regions critical for integrated movement. Neck training is highlighted for its importance in injury prevention and posture correction, especially for martial artists who use their heads as mechanical bases. Nsima stresses practical neck strengthening protocols, including the use of tongue pressure on the roof of the mouth to enhance safety and stability during isometric or loaded neck exercises. Hand and grip strength get considerable attention given their central role in jiu-jitsu and unconventional training tools. Nsima discusses diverse modalities like rice bucket exercises, grippers, and even the challenge of tearing apart a tennis ball to develop crushing grip and fine motor control. Similarly, foot strength and functional flexibility are valued for gait efficiency and balance, incorporating barefoot work, towel curls, skips, hops, and minimalistic footwear to progressively rebuild resilience and proprioception. Nsima recommends embedding short movement sessions seamlessly into daily life as a sustainable strategy for physical improvement. Examples include keeping fitness tools accessible at work or home, performing quick sets of rope flow or bodyweight exercises throughout the day, and using small tools like grip trainers or foot rollers while relaxing. He stresses that even 2 minutes daily can compound over months and years into substantial gains, encouraging people to create environments that invite movement and make physical activity a natural part of life. Breath is described as foundational by Nsima, influencing nervous system regulation, movement ease, and recovery. He distinguishes between shallow chest or clavicular breathing, often linked to chronic tension and anxiety, versus deep diaphragmatic breathing that promotes parasympathetic tone and natural spinal bracing. Through anecdotes and reference to martial arts legends like Rickson Gracie, he explains how controlled breath patterns facilitate better performance and injury prevention. Using examples, he advises inhaling during descent phases, e.g., squatting, and exhaling during concentric effort, aligning breath with movement. Holding the tongue against the palate during neck loading enhances tension distribution and safety. Moreover, breathwork relates to daily activities, including defecation, where relaxing opposed to straining prevents unnecessary internal tension. The podcast explores the value of quality sleep and the role of technology in tracking recovery. Nsima shares his experience with devices like the Oura Ring and 8 Sleep mattress, but emphasizes that self-awareness often outweighs metrics. While these tools provide useful data, he warns against becoming anxious or overly dependent on numbers, advocating mindfulness towards how one feels physically and mentally. He discusses sleep positions, pillow preferences, and strategies like elevating the head to promote lymphatic drainage and breathing quality. Nsima also explains that variability in personal needs requires experimentation to find optimal routines. The discussion pivots to a critical yet often misunderstood topic: sunlight exposure. Nsima stresses that sun needs vary drastically depending on ancestry and geography. Individuals with darker skin, such as those of West African descent, require substantially longer sun exposure to produce adequate vitamin D due to higher melanin content, which protects against UV radiation but reduces vitamin D synthesis. Conversely, people with lighter skin living in high UV areas, including many white Australians, face higher risks of skin cancer and must exercise more caution. He warns against universal advice to avoid sun exposure for skin cancer prevention without contextualizing individual skin types and ancestral backgrounds. Nsima encourages brown and black populations living in northern latitudes to prioritize sun exposure or supplementation, dispelling myths that they should avoid the sun for cosmetic reasons. Useful tools like UV tracking apps help individuals monitor optimal sun times based on location, aiding personalized sunlight microdosing. He notes that balanced light exposure benefits not only skin but also eye health, circadian rhythm, and mitochondrial function. Nsima shares his endorsement of EMR tech devices that combine red, near-infrared, UVA, and UVB light for therapeutic benefits, including accelerated muscle recovery, skin health, and even vision improvement. He recounts a story from Jack Cruz about a red light treatment helping someone avoid cataract surgery. Photobiomodulation's role in enhancing mitochondrial energy production forms the scientific basis for these effects. While cautioning against unregulated devices, Nsima highlights this emerging technology as a promising adjunct for longevity and healing. Throughout the dialogue, Nsima underscores the value of humility and continuous learning in health and fitness. He critiques the tribalism that dominates many fitness communities, cautioning against dogmatic adherence to single modalities or dismissing other approaches outright. He encourages curiosity, experimentation, and individualized practices rather than rigid allegiance to what works for everyone. He also notes the lag between clinical research and real-world application, advocating for thoughtful, evidence-informed, but experiential approaches. Lastly, Nsima pays tribute to mentors like Mark Bell and fellow movement innovators such as Ido Portal and David Weck. He highlights how their pioneering work in various movement disciplines shaped his own practice. He also points to the supportive role of online communities like The Stronger Human, where practitioners of diverse fitness goals come together to learn, share, and grow in their individualized journeys. This community aspect reinforces movement as play and lifelong process rather than punishment or chore.